Alright, so in this tutorial, I will continue to talk about connection between Rhino to Unreal. I want to actually show you a diagram first, just a quick refresh about the previous tutorial. So we covered how you can exporting a model from InfraWorks to Rhino through FBX, and then from Rhino you can exporting to Unreal. So in this pipeline, there's a multiple ways you can make it happen. So for example, you can bring FBX file directly into Unreal through either InfraWorks or Rhino. You can also exporting Datasmith into Unreal. So I will start first talk a little bit the difference between these two, Datasmith and FBX. They both works, but there's limitation in terms of using FBX. So I think in the last tutorial I covered you can exporting this directly through Datasmith export to 3D view, right? But if you don't exporting to Datasmith, just in case you actually exported into FBX, right? So which is the format available in Rhino. This is called the motion builder FBX, which is right here, right? You could do that, and then you can say, hey, this is a model I want to directly push into Unreal. So you can give a name, whatever name here, FBX, right? In the options, just make sure when you're exporting FBX, you do not want to select lights, views. You don't really need any camera. The vertex normal is okay, you can keep it. So when you're exporting, all the NURB will automatically convert into meshes. So this is by default because Unreal does not support NURB. All right, and then I'm gonna exporting and then click save. So basically you exported the whole thing into a FBX file. And this option usually is pretty important if you do have a curved shape. You want to maintain with a little bit higher polygons because when you convert NURB, right, a curved surface into polymesh, it will be triangulized. So you want to control a little bit. For me, I don't really have many curved shape, so I will just maintain this as like a minimum, but not too, not zero, just a little bit. Then click OK. So basically, you generated an FBX file. So here, if I compare the file size, I just want to dig into more into this pipeline. So here you can see the FBX file I generated is about 24 megabits, right? So it's pretty big. Compared to the Datasmith file I just exported a few minutes ago. So here's the Datasmith file, which is only 600K. However, you do want to remember in the Datasmith file, it always come associated with a folder. And then in this folder, you can actually see all the actual images, all 3D models. So you got a lot of extra files within. Okay. So this is the difference between Datasmith and FBX. I will talk a little bit why I don't really like using FBX as a way to transfer the large site model. So here is the reason. I think I mentioned a little bit in Rhino. If I look at the material, right, of this, which is coming from InfraWorks. If I check, for example, the materials or the properties, uh, where is the property? Right here. Right. So if I check the material, you see this material is called, 414 because you have a lot of texture mappings. So it has a base color. For the base color is actually attached. If I edit a texture, you can see this texture is a satellite image is attached, right, to the shader. And there is a UV value as -1. So this value is illegal in FBX. So when exporting this to Unreal, I can show you what this looks like. So in Unreal, you can import, right, the model FBX. it will show up. So I will show you the result without actually redo it. Maybe I will redo it so you can actually see the whole difference. So I will add a new folder here under just for testing, because later I gonna actually remove them. Avondale FBX. Just wanna show you. So here, if I import right that FBX file, you will see what happened. Right, this is FBX. Right. So start to push everything into Unreal. In this pop-up, you do want to have an option called combine. Usually I will check yes. The reason is if you don't combine them together, every single piece of geometry will be an independent asset, which make it really difficult to edit. So I would recommend if you're inputting a large site model, you want to combine them together. So here import, right? So now you can see Unreal is working pretty hard to import all the geometries, all the materials into it. So you end up with hundreds, right? Hundreds of them, right? But also it automatically put the file into the current stage. I should probably not do this right now because I already have an existing model here. So it basically doubled my current geometry. So let's wait a little bit until this process is done. Okay, so after a few minutes, the whole model now is imported into Unreal. So here I have 496 items, and you can see right color is the individual image, satellite. The green color is a shader, so there's a lot of buildings that generate the shaders. And also you have this geometry automatically put in a map, and this geometry, if I browse to asset, you can see it's right here. It's a single object, it's a mesh, because we choose combine, right, when we import. And you can see this is the geometry, and this is all the shader. Let me docking this so you can see it. So this is all the shader associated with it. Okay, so I want to say this process looks okay, but here there are some issues. The most important issue is you generated a lot of materials, right? And for each of this material, they are kind of independent from each other. And as you can see, the coordinates is 0, right? Is a 1 to -1. This is carried directly from Rhino. But here's a problem. If I look at the building, for instance, if I zoom in a little bit, you can see the building is actually upside down, right? Because in Rhino, it doesn't really understand what the -1 means. Sorry, in Unreal. So you can't really using negative directly in Unreal, unfortunately. The same problem you can see from the terrain on the ground. The terrain model definitely is flipped, right? It's not matching. So it's impossible to go through every single material and then just flip the material from positive from -1 to +1. That's just some of them are right, some of them are not. So it makes the editing really difficult in Unreal. That's the reason we do not using this approach, the site model as FBX into Unreal. Okay, so what I will do now is I will actually delete this model we don't need, and then I will show you the Datasmith version. To delete this will take some time, but I will do that right now. So in the content, let me start with a new level. Right, I will just do a basic. Okay, so for this basic level, then I can go ahead delete the map I don't need. Yeah, it's a good idea you keep your folder clean, and also I don't need this folder. Just in case we're pushing this file to GitHub, right? So any file you don't really need, you want to delete. Just be careful. Don't delete files belongs to other people. Okay. All right, after a few minutes, it's all cleaned up. So let's getting started. Right, so I will create a new level. I call the basic. For this basic level, I'm going to input the Datasmith. Right, so first I will add a new folder. I call the site DM. Just make sure this is the Datasmith folder. I will later put Datasmith site into it. And then I'm going to add, I want to add the Datasmith file. If this is the first time you're using Datasmith, you probably don't have this option. The reason is you have not downloaded the plugin yet. So here, if I check my plugins installed, you might see I already activate a plugin called uh, Datasmith. Let me see, where is the mm, yeah, it's right here, plugins, and I just type Datasmith. You can just type Datasmith, right? So this is the one you should activate. It's called Datasmith Importer version 1.0. By activate this plugin, you probably want to restart your computer. Then in the add, you should have this option called Datasmith. Okay, so just make sure you have a new map. You have a new folder, and then I'm going to add Datasmith import, and then I will point to the location I have my Datasmith. So this file is called historic a Datasmith, right? So this is a Datasmith file. Just keep in mind this one also associated with a folder called Datasmith folder. So let's open. Just make sure you point to the folder you want to input the Datasmith. When you input, I don't really have animations, cameras, I don't have lighting. I just want to have geometry and material. These are the two. And I will import. I don't think we need to change anything for light map. This is basically about the baking. Um, since we only use it as a reference, I think it's okay to just keep this as a default. Okay, so here we go. We are then loading the whole thing into the current level. You see it's actually relatively fast. It's loading probably 500 files into the current project. It's prepare the texture shader, it generate mesh. um, is all automatic, right? You might also notice in this process it doesn't give me an option to combine the meshes. So in fact we'll see that in a second. All the mesh will come in as individual mesh, so you can actually see them are well organized into different folders, and here you can see every single mesh right here. Again, this is not really ideal if you have let's see a stair, right? You bring in as a Datasmith, it just break apart into many small elements. This is only useful for site modeling, so just want to keep that in mind. And also all the materials, they actually share the same parent. So the parent is in the reference folder, is right here, right? And also you have texture folder, which is all the individual 2D images. So I think Datasmith is really nice. It's keep everything organized in this nice hierarchy. So 80% done. Yeah, it's almost there. Okay. In fact, you can also see on the thing you have the historic A Datasmith, right? This is the root. Under the root, you have InfraWorks mesh. You have the Rhino model I added in. So here, if I use F, we can feed into the view. The model is a little bit far away from 0, 0. So let me fly really quick to the selected objects. Where is the flight control? Hold on. Let me see. Yeah, camera speed. I want to give the speed to be higher. Um, yeah, because this is a super large model. You do want to fly a little bit faster. Yeah, I think my resolution is a bit too low. That's the reason um, it doesn't give me that interface directly. So now I can, oh, maybe that's too fast. So let me do one more time. Control the speed. Maybe not 200, maybe just 20. Okay, so now I can zoom in, right? So see the model is all in. As long as you have layers in Rhino, it's all carried in pretty nicely. Okay. All right. So this is a good starting point. The reason you see this as a little star because they have not been saved. So right now I can do a save all. So this will save the current map as well. I will give this map called site. Okay, save. That's it. So saving these hundreds of files altogether, plus this map. Okay. While it's saving, I want to point out a few issues and how we fix it. Number one, you will notice the texture is still doesn't look right, right? It just looks like the UV has been flipped as well. You can tell from the highway, it doesn't match with the geometry. The reason is if I go to reference and open the material, you can see all the materials in this Datasmith format. If I double click, is the children of this parent, right? So you have hundreds of children all point to the same parent. If I open this parent, you can see this parent does not have a UV control. So here if I type U and left click, I can plug a UV control to this parent, and then by default is 1 1, right? So let's save it, see what happens. When you save the parent, all the children will automatically update, right? That's the reason if I check all my children, they all have referenced to the same parent, which is being updated. So here, let me change the V tile to -1. So I will force Unreal to understand this tile should be flipped, right? Once I do it, you can see hundreds of children will automatically update, and you have the correct texture mapping. Sorry, it's a little bit too fast. I will slow down my camera maybe to, I don't know, 5. Okay. So now, if you pay attention to the landscape, right, you'll see the landscape is all correct. That's beautiful, right? It's all correct. Looks nice. I wouldn't worry too much about the shininess because again, this is all reference to this parent. You do have a metallic value as 1, so I will probably do this as 0. And I have the roughness as 1. I will probably do as 0. I will bouncing up to 1. So by doing so, you kind of removed the reflectivities of the parent. So all the children will automatically update. So you don't have that weird reflection anymore, right? You see the texture on the ground looks correct. The same thing for all the building. It will be automatically updated as well. Okay, very nice. For the roof, all the roofs is actually referenced as a solid color to another parent. So here you can see um, some roof materials like this, right? So what I will do now is in the roof parent, I will do the same thing. I don't really care about the UV anymore because this one doesn't have a texture, but I do want to make the metallic as 0. I want to make the roughness as 1. Yeah, and then save it. Once I save the parent, everything looks no reflections. Looks awesome, right? So this is a little bit kind of editing you have to do because when you transfer geometries or shaders from one program to another, sometimes the properties will be kind of messed up. So it all looks nice. So for this historic map, I think in Rhino, if I open it, you can see I added a little bit transparency to the map. So it's a 68% transparent, but you can definitely changing this back to 1. This will be opaque. So this there is exactly the same way you add it in Rhino. Okay, we only use it as a kind of historic reference, so you know exactly the building footprint in this Unreal file. Okay, so I think that's it about the whole model. Again, if you click, you can see this is a BRAP. It's come from the historic model. I can turn it off. And then this is InfraWorks model, which is all in a folder. I can turn it off. So it's sort of like a layer control. So it's pretty nice. You can manipulate visibilities. So overall, I think the model looks pretty nice. Exactly looks like the InfraWorks model. As you recall, I already fixed the road um, to matching the 1950 Avondale. So this curved road is actually straightforward, and you can see some church, you can see some temples, but of course the model is not accurate. That's the thing we're gonna actually manually modify in the next step. All right, but overall, I think that's how this base model is ready for the next step. I will next thing is gonna push this model directly into GitHub. Let's give this site update, and then I'm gonna pushing this online to the repository in the cloud repository.